Yeah, it's interesting because I think what Trump supporters have in common, particularly if they're in big cities, is they've had to face a lot of hate, a lot of shame, a lot of demonization. But maybe maybe there's a shift, and people can wake up and realize that Trump supporters are not the worst people in the world. But what do you put it down to? Because it's not just in rural areas that we saw people voting for Trump, but we also saw that happening in big cities and supporting the MAGA movement. What was it about the MAGA movement that gained so much support this time around?
I mean, especially being in a big city as a young woman, safety is more important to me than above all else. And I think a lot of the crime we've seen from people coming over the border, the mistreatment of women at the southern border, and issues like this have really got people to wake up. And they wake up every morning, they feel unsafe going on the New York City subway. To get to work, you feel unsafe. You physically don't feel comfortable in your country, in your home, in your city. And I think for me personally, it's safety above all else.
Yeah. Look, your movement, Make America Hot Again, it's a bit of fun, but how have you seen that really grown, and what were you hearing from voters last night?
Voters last night, the biggest response I got was, I'm so excited to be in a room filled with normal, good looking people
With hot
that,
people?
I don't have to hide my views around. They're like, this is crazy. I can actually say what I'm thinking without fear of, calling myself being canceled or whatever the newest thing is. It's like these girls get canceled for just saying that they like Donald Trump or telling people how they vote. And I said, listen, like, we need to wake up as New Yorkers. You are
Yeah.
allowed to have an opinion. You are allowed to have a vote. Your vote matters. You can vote differently than me, but I still respect your vote. I'm not going to, cancel you as a friend and tell you to never speak to me again because of the way you vote. And I think that there's been this thing that if you are a Trump supporter, you are a racist, you are a bigot. And the crazy thing is, I do a lot of street interviews in New York City. Every Black man I spoke to specifically all told me they were voting for Trump. Okay.
Yeah.
We've seen minorities come out in record numbers, young people coming out in record numbers. There was a 7% increase to the amount of people Gen Z audience specifically, who voted for Trump. And, last night at the party, we had things like, I brought McDonald's French fries. And like, we're really playing off that MAGA energy of Trump doing these sort of like crazy fun things during the campaign where he went and served McDonald's French fries in Pennsylvania. So we were really just playing on that fun energy, that really piggybacking that off the Trump campaign. And it's been light from the start, and we really wanted to bring that spirit because, like I said, they think that we're haters, you're a horrible person, and we wanted to show, look, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a good time, and we don't have to be ashamed to be Trump supporters.
Raquel, I love that you did that. I think Trump's campaigning was just amazing. Watching him at McDonald's and then watching him dress up as a garbage truck driver was just brilliant. Look, I want your opinion. Why did Kamala Harris fail? Was she too radical left? Was it the celebrities that started to buddy up to her? Was it because she picked Tim Walz? What really went wrong for her?
A lot of people say she was pandering to the left, but the reality is that she actually became more of a centrist during this, election cycle. And she actually was pandering to the middle vote. And a lot of people say, well, she wasn't left enough. Well, that's crazy because I think Kamala has proven to be one of the most liberal women we've seen in office. I mean, I think that there's a variety of factors. The fact that, she has really pushed this idea that if you're not with us, you're stupid. Okay, calling women stupid. Comments by Mark Cuban saying women are dumb. If you support Trump, you cannot be an intelligent woman. That's just not true.
Yeah.
And she's saying that we're fear mongering, but the reality on the ground is, who is fear mongering? You throw out topics like abortion and you think you're going to win an election based on abortion straight up. And that's just, women are smarter than that in general, too. And I think there's a lot of other issues that, people say that Trump hates women. Okay. Trump has done more to protect women than anyone else. He's protected women's sports, for example, is a great, starting point from that. Women's sports need to be protected. Women at the southern border, are being sex trafficked, etc. Like, that's protecting women. Protecting women starts at our southern border. And that carries on into our country. Like, we want Americans to be taken care of first. And Americans have felt, they have this anger and they're upset because, of course, other people come into our country and, they get to be in a position where they're treated better than an American. And that's just not a reality that people are okay with anymore. She kept saying, we're going to turn the page. What do you mean you're turning the page? Like, what is this lady talking about? We're going to turn the page. You are in office. It's crazy to me. And people are like, well, she doesn't have that much power. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that you're the one in charge. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can do stuff. You can do stuff in that role as VP. It's a little bit wild.
Yeah, that was pretty hard. I think the gaslighting and the pretending that she hasn't been, running the country with Joe Biden for the past 4 years, people could see right through it. And if you look at the funding, it's pretty amazing because Kamala Harris had around triple the amount of funding compared to Trump's camp. She had nearly $1 billion thrown at her and she failed. So, I think that says a lot about how Americans feel about her and the Democrat Party at the moment. But finally, serious question. How intentional were all of Joe Biden's mistakes in the final days of the campaign? Was it just him losing his marbles or did he do it deliberately?
I mean, I think he's being a little bit petty. And who can blame the man? Because sometimes a petty story is truly a little bit entertaining. I mean, the man got pushed out of his own party. I actually feel bad for Joe Biden, truly, because he got pushed out of his own party and now people are blaming, oh, he didn't pull out fast enough. She didn't have enough time to campaign. What are you guys talking about? Because when she initially first came out, she was doing well in the polls. And at the last second, her campaign pushed to sort of get her on more talk shows, etc., and change her, tactics right at the very end. And that just wasn't enough time. People didn't know what she stood for. She changed her opinion constantly.
And she kept
was constantly changing her mind.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
At the very last moment, no one could tell you where she stood on certain issues.
Yeah. So, and that's just not, people want someone who stands for something, who has integrity, who doesn't just pander to their audience and tell you what you want to hear.
Raquel Debono coming to us from New York City. It is so great to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour.
Thank you so much.